1025 The Bone. This is Earl Slick. Earl Slick. If you want to get through and talk to Dominic Fariello, you got a question for Ask the Dom, 727-579-1025 or 800-771-1025. Get on the phone lines right now. Spanish, please go get Dom and bring him in the studio. Galvin, don't let me forget to ask Dom about that other situation,
right.
too. If you think you need an attorney, you're not sure if you need an attorney, you have a legal question, you killed somebody and you're not sure what to do with the body, now is the time to call. 800-771-1025. Wide open on your phone lines right now.
Get in.
Thank you. I would like everybody to wear body cameras here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to know what's taking Spanish so long going to get Dom. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to know why Carmen took 12 minutes to go get me a bar from the kitchen.
Right.
I want to know where everybody goes. Where do you always go? That's what I want to know. You're not allowed to leave anymore. Yeah. Unless you go to poop, I want to know where you're going.
I did have to poop this morning, but I got secret places.
How is it possible that you, as the executive producer, disappear every break, and yet you let everything fall apart?
I was here this break. Nothing fell apart.
No, you weren't.
Here we are.
I say, Dom's coming in to take your phone calls and give out the phone numbers. The phone started ringing. I asked Carmen to run to the kitchen for me. She takes 12 minutes to do that, and nobody answers the phone. Then you leave, she leaves, and the phone lines all ring out.
Oh, I didn't know. I would have gotten on the phone. I went to go find Dom.
You would have?
I had to go to
This is Dom's 10th year of being here.
Tinkle room.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Seriously, Gio, from now on, whenever somebody leaves the room, Gio has to come in the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
Unless, of course, Gio's busy.
He's always
whatever
busy.
he needs to do. Of course he is. He works harder than anybody else.
Yeah.
Dom, how are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning.
I mean, I'd like to get straight to the phone calls. What was that?
Gio was on the.
Let me see.
Pap and Gio
Yeah, I did it again.
Let me see the Pap. Yeah, thank you, Gio. And Pap on the backup.
Look at those.
Gio,
White power, Gio.
Gio, when somebody leaves the room, you run in the room and take over. And then when they come back, it's your decision on whether or not they should stay or leave. Okay? Thank you.
Except for me.
Well, no, I know.
Except for
making sure it's clear.
It was unnecessary.
I rarely leave.
When you do,
I'm right back.
You pee, you poop, you get a snack, come right back in.
You know what I do too, and you can verify this with one Mr. John Brennan, is I will sometimes go chat with John, like in the 9 o'clock hour, something comes up and I'm over there talking to him. I'm constantly going like this. Looking to
look
see
at the time?
On-air light, to see if the on-air light, and looking at my phone to see what time it is. Yeah.
You know whose fault this really is?
Yours. Everything is your fault.
Absolutely not. It was Richard's fault. He had Dom tied up in the break room. They were chit-chatting about something.
Okay,
I don't know.
But Dom is not the problem. Dom is here just on time.
And
we said, go get Dom. Dom came right in.
If you were here, or if you were there and you saw Richard tying up Dom, you should say, hey, Dom, we got to get down there because you're up next.
I did. Did I not yell down to you? Dom's tying up.
No. That's not what he said.
No.
That's not what he said.
Take him by his arm.
That's why when I tell you, when I go call this lady and ask her that, and then you're like, I can't get a hold of her, or she got no. I said, did you call her? You're like, I text her. I go, did I say text her? You never listen.
Just like whenever you were, listen to me.
Never.
Just like when you were down in the parking lot and he was telling you what to say and you wouldn't say what he was saying.
That was years ago.
I know. Ruined our
relationship. First of all,
ruined our relationship.
Dom is a grown man. I don't need to hold his hand and bring him down to the studio. He knows what time we go on.
Bay News 9 was down in the parking lot, and for some reason, they love to do stories on me. And they had a cameraman now, so a big, fat, dumb cameraman was down there in the parking lot, and he was videotaping. And I sent Spanish down. I go down there and ask him what he's videotaping. So he went down there. He's like, oh, we're at Bay News 9. And then I could see him. So I go, I said something about, being fat and dumb or whatever. And Spanish was like, oh, is it true you're just dumb or whatever? I go, did I say that? It said fat and dumb. And you're like, oh, and then twice you wouldn't listen to me.
No, I don't
to your other point, Dom is a grown man.
Yeah.
Dom's a lawyer.
Right.
Dom's a radio star.
Yeah.
Dom's a philanthropist. Hi, how are you? Also,
All
at
true.
this point, he is a guest star on the Mike Calta Show and should be treated suchly.
He is treated. That's why I didn't grab him by the hand and lead him down here like some kind of
That's how you have to
toddler.
I don't know why we're talking about Dom. He was fine. I said, get Dom, and Dom came in.
Yeah, so
why
what
are you putting this on Dom?
Why are
I'm
we
putting
yelling
it on
at me?
Spanish.
I went and got him. I did what you said. I was in here, doing audio.
He needs to be pampered.
The truth of the story is that there are occasions, Mike and Galvin.
Sorry, Dom, I got to eat this while you talk, because Carmen took forever to go get it for me during the break.
Sometimes I'll find Spanish in my office here at the station, and sometimes he's doing things to himself that we can't mention on air. I don't necessarily think that Yeah, if he needs to relieve
You have an
some
office?
stress, I do. If he need, and that was in my it's
more of a filing cabinet.
I think it's my season 6 contract. If he needs to relax during the stress that's incorporated here, and he needed a quiet place to go, he's more than welcome to use my office. He always keeps it clean and tidy.
Yeah.
Not
So
between
Mike,
6 and 10.
he does not. He was embarrassed to tell you that. And
I was
so
embarrassed.
I'm here to tell you that sometimes he's in my office. He's fooling around.
That's right.
There you go.
Horseplay.
I don't know if that makes you feel any better,
No.
but at least you know he's not wandering the street.
Yeah.
I hate both of you now.
What? Not both of us.
Mike
take the heat.
He's upset that I have an office.
I'll take the heat on this one.
By the way, good morning. You look lovely today.
What's her problem?
Whose
Where were
problem?
you?
Huh?
What? I went down there to get a bar, and Richard and Dom were down there, and they started talking to me.
See, there.
And-
Richard's holding everybody up.
You shut your face. Why can't you just go, I got to go. I'm in working right now.
I was trying to do that, and the salespeople, they just start talking about something, and so I got it, and then I sprinted down here. I'm sorry.
See?
All I
That it
did
took
was
so
get my
long.
coffee this morning. I was just getting my coffee, and I come in here.
You know?
and
You're
you
fine.
Got, you got the big eye upset at everybody.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
Terrible.
Unbelievable.
But good
Probably
morning,
just got
by the
home.
way.
It was good.
To go home.
You guys stay. We're going home.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've apparently been in the studio long enough.
No. No. All right, let's get to the phone calls.
All right.
Two name on a shot, girl. Took it and saw her. All right, let's start with that. JR, good morning. You're on with Asadam. What do you got? All
Hey, Mike, good morning. How is everybody?
right, how was it good? What do you got?
Good morning. I had a question. It's actually regarding my friend. He and his wife, or ex-wife now, purchased a vehicle, and both names were on the note. And she stole the truck from him and then put a restraining order on him so he can't get near the vehicle. Is there any way that he can get the car back legally?
Well, the problem is, she can't steal a vehicle that she owns. So
Right.
if
He owns.
you're right.
They both own it.
They're in the same name.
Right, that's the question.
Yeah, so number one, she didn't steal a vehicle. Number two, if she has a restraining order against him, that usually has a certain number of feet. But if the vehicle is outside of the number of feet contained within the restraining order, then and the car is his and he has a key and he's got every right to use it.
Steal it back.
He can take it. No, let's say the word steal, but he can
All right.
take
It's
it back.
It's like chess.
But nobody's
Then
stealing
she-
it because it's actually his truck, too.
Right.
Correct.
So
That's,
he goes
So
and
what
gets
if
it.
he's...
She's a
Right.
target.
What if
He goes
gave
and gets
me
it.
permission?
Oh, no, that's not good. Your name's not on the thing, sir.
what is?
Okay.
He said, what if they gave him permission?
Well, the problem is that he may not be a permissive user by her, and then
Right.
I don't want this fellow.
okay.
I would, to be honest, I would not get involved in that scenario. There, you're a good friend. You're calling in, asking a question. I would stay out of it, but just relay the
Okay.
information you heard on the show that they both own the car. They both can. You can't steal something you already own.
Plus, I would use it as an excuse to shoot you.
No, that's what I was
If he was
worried
stealing my
about.
car,
Yeah, well, God forbid there might be a misunderstanding as to, hey, why is this fella's in the car?
you say God forbid, I say opportunity.
Well.
All right, sorry, sir. Thank you. Let's go to Rick. Hello, Rick. You're on the Mike Calta Show with Asadam. What do you got, sir?
Hey, good morning. Hey, I got a quick question about a roofing contractor estimate. So basically, the contractor came out, gave me an estimate on having a flat roof changed to putting a pitch on it to where there's a slope. So basically, the wording in the estimate says to replace shingles whenever they tie it into the pitched roof, but that's a metal roof.
Okay.
So basically the verbiage is wrong as far as the existing roof. So can I hold him to that estimate, or can he get, because it's a good price, but can he get out of it because he put shingles instead of a metal roof?
Well, if the estimate by your own admission is incorrect, or if the verbiage is ambiguous, then I would suggest to you that you don't enter into the agreement or contractual agreement based on the estimate, because there could be a problem down the road, which you recognize now. I would clarify. I would change the wording of the estimate with their approval and say, this is what it needs to say. Are we in agreement? So that way there's a meeting of the minds and everybody knows what the hell's going on with this new roof. And if they don't do it, well, then now you've dodged a bullet. You don't need to engage in working with these folks because it would be a hassle down the road. You go find yourself another company. So it's very rare that someone like you calls now.
Right.
Usually they call
After they-
and well, I should have had it changed, and now I'm in litigation, Mr. Fariello. I hate the roof and all this other stuff. So you're actually one of my most favorite callers. Is they call preemptively So I would correct the language first and then enter the contract, and then you don't have problems. You avoid having to go to court or needing lawyers or sending demand letters. That's what I would recommend for you.
All right.
There it is.
Gotcha.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Another satisfied customer, Spanish. Can you run out to the marquee in the front?
Done.
Thank you so much.
Fran, good morning. You're on Ask the Dom.
Hi, good morning. I love you guys. I love the show.
Thank you.
I live in a deed-restricted community, and a while back, probably at the beginning of January or whenever, they had changed over mailboxes to something different, and we had changed over the mailbox. Unbeknownst to me, the lettering on the mailbox, which of course is the house number, didn't fit their standards. It wasn't the numbering that they wanted, which I didn't even realize. We bought gold lettering, gold numbers in Home Depot. My husband put them on, and that's it. I get a letter on it was dated June 26th, saying, hey, if you don't correct this and fix the numbers on the mailbox, you're going to get fined $1,000 within 14 days, I believe it was. So I called them up and I asked them, and they said the lettering is wrong. I said, okay, we'll fix it. We went to the place where they wanted you to buy the numbering from, put the numbers on. And she said, you still have to go to an appeals board because you're still being fined. I'm like, why? Because you got 2 letters prior. I was sent one in March and April, which I did not receive. The June one, I want to say that was certified, but I can't be certain. I think it was certified. So that's when we corrected it. And I'm like, hey, I corrected it within the time. I did not get the other 2 letters. And they were like, nope, $1,000. And I'm like, what, $1,000? Wow. Do I have any recourse because I didn't get the first 2 letters?
Well, it depends on the letter that you did receive, what it says. So it
says if I don't correct it within the 14 days, I will be fined $1,000. So that's why I acted on it. I'm like, hey, $1,000, $20.
Take a second. Breathe. It's a Tuesday morning. We're going to get you through it. It says 14. It's so relaxed. It's okay. I'm here to help you. 14 days from when?
From the date of the letter.
Okay, so 14 days from the date of the letter that you believe you got certified, you complied with the request of the HOA. Is that correct?
Correct.
You should be fine. You should win. But
I went to the appeals last night and I explained this to them and they fined me $1,000.
And what you're going to do is you're going to call my office today, or you're going to go to my website, askthedom.com. I'm going to give you TJ's information, Townsend Belt, Mr. Belt's information, who does HOA law, and he's going to go in and scare the hell out of them for you. How about that?
Okay.
That's how you do it.
I love it.
That's
Thank you so much.
You're
$1,000. I mean, it's pretty steep, but we live in a moderate community. You know, it's just outrageous, and I complied. And
do me a favor.
I will do that.
When you send me an email, can you attach the letter that you received from them? Send that to me, and I'll send that to Mr. Belt. Just if you wouldn't mind attaching that, it's a secure website. Me and Mr. Belt are the only ones who'll see it.
I certainly can.
Okay, there you go. Yes, ma'am.
Good luck.
Thanks so much, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you too.
I was backing out of my driveway, and I have 2 concrete posts at the end of my driveway. They both have lights on them, and one has my mailbox housed in it. And I hit it, and it fell over and broke. But the truth is that the people before me didn't take very good care of it, and it was teetering anyway. And all I did was tap it with my car, and it came over and fell. But I replaced it with a Home Depot mailbox. Built a little wooden stand, put it in there. It's done right. Put the numbers on it because we're going to redo my driveway, and we don't know where the mailbox is going to go yet. You know,
sure.
But I'm waiting. My brother, every time he pulls it to my house, he's like, "Jesus Christ, you're bringing the whole neighborhood down."
That's not the spec.
Yeah.
Well, when I get the letters from the folks, I just call. Says this is Attorney Dom Fariello, and I'm calling from Mike Calta. And they say, okay, no, everything's fine. Thank you so much.
My brother also, I have one of those inflatable movie screens in my backyard.
Right.
And I keep it inflated because every time you take it down, it has a hard time going back. And it also blocks, it gives a little bit of privacy, between my house and my neighbor's house. They can't really see it. But for me, it blocks it off. And my brother gave me a speech the other day. He goes, you got $20,000 worth of furniture out here. You got TVs, barbecue, big green eggs. It's like a resort back here. And you got this stupid screen. I go, the kids, they watch movies on it. They go, you got to take it down. He made me take it down. He's like, it's bringing it down.
Made you?
Yeah. And then my daughter has a house that was built in there like a playhouse.
Yeah.
Built inside, by home builders. He's like, gee, are you done with that yet? We got to take that down. That's got to go. And I'm like, why? And he goes, you got a shower back there. You don't even use the shower. I go, yeah, well, it shares the wall with my real shower. I just walk into the house and shower.
I think he just wants to watch you shower.
You might be.
While you're watching movies.
Probably.
By the way, I just always assume the HOA just wants to have a really good Super Bowl party. That's why they're finding They just use that money for the end of the year. They have a Super Bowl party.
I tell you, the HOAs or the condominium associations, they are those are the craziest venues I've been in.
They are the most ticky-tack.
Oh, my God. Ticky-tack, yeah.
But some of them, like where I live now, I think is good. They don't
you
bother me
definitely
unless
want to have it, if there's a neighbor that has the lawn going crazy or a car parked out in the middle of the thing.
Pay a lot of money to have a nice neighborhood.
Absolutely. But then there's sometimes like that where they're like, man, you got to do this. And blah, blah, blah.
My Wesley Chapel house is the worst. We were renting it out, and they would just send me a letter. Hey, you got to clean your mailbox or paint your mailbox. I'm like, okay, so we paint the mailbox. You got to pressure wash it. And I'm like, we just pressure wash it. It's just one of those things they go around and tell everybody, it's pressure wash time.
Right, yeah.
They were the worst. They would just keep doing it.
The neighborhood I live in, which is in South Tampa, you've been in my neighborhood.
I have.
We've changed some things. My wife's like, well, shouldn't you have to contact the folks? It says, no, I'm making it better. It actually looks nicer.
I don't know, Dom. Most of the time, you got to double check with them.
And nobody says a word.
All right.
Nobody says a word.
You're on report.
That's good.
Joey, you're on with Ask the Dom. This is interesting. Joey had his car repoed 23 years ago, correct, Joey?
Billy.
All right, Billy. You got your car repoed 23 years ago, and just now they started garnishing your wages?
Correct.
Can't have your wages garnished.
Yeah, I got a letter yesterday from my payroll company, and they're going to garnish $300 a week out of my check, probably starting this Friday.
What did you think was going to happen when you sent the car back?
Well, I understand that, but 23 years later is kind of a shock to me.
Well, they finally caught you.
Yeah, they caught me. I don't understand. I never got a letter to go to court to defend myself.
So what is your question?
My question is, what can I do about this
Pay
right now? Is there a way I can stop this? I will pay it. I understand I'm responsible for it, but I never even went to court for this. I never got served any papers to go to court.
Well,
so how did they file?
So what happened is they sued you. You didn't get notice. They posted the lawsuit somewhere. There was a default judgment entered. Then there was probably an order to show cause to the default. You didn't get that notification. What state is this in, the repo? What state and county?
Florida.
Okay.
Pinellas County.
Pinellas County. So you probably moved in the past 23 years, and then a final judgment order was issued. And then what happened is once they have the final judgment order issued, they have to fine your employer. If you've been, employed, or if you've been, if you have your own business, you pay yourself. You're not going to garnish your own wages. They probably had to wait till you had some type of payroll service or company that's paying you, or employer that's separate than yourself. I've
never worked under the books or anything. I've always been on the books.
Well, that you could still not be paying yourself versus being working for somebody. You can pay yourself on the books, or somebody else can. So that's a separate issue.
And there's no statute of limitations for them to.
Once the order is in, so I would assume they have a final judgment in. So once the final judgment was in, then it's just a matter of time of tracking folks down. So the statute would have told under the pleadings. So the pleading's more likely. So what he has to do is he has to call AP Investigations at the office. Let's answer his question. AP Investigations will research the lien or the judgment against him in Pinellas County, and then can print off the documents, and then that is where he starts. Because if he wants to challenge it, then he has to hire an attorney, which I can provide to him. Then they have to challenge the default judgment. It's a motion to set aside the default judgment, or set aside the final judgment order, I should say, because of lack of notice, and then try to get it overturned, if you will, and then have a lawyer go in and renegotiate a deal or a resolution with the finance company, more likely than not, that financed the vehicle from. That's the order of things. So it starts with AP Investigations through my office. We got to figure out what happened and where we got to go, and then we can tell you if you need a lawyer and what lawyer you need. So it's step by step, and we can get you through it.
All right. Okay. Call the office at 813-251-5550, but I have a feeling that guy's going to be screwed.
Well, I mean, if he owes it, he owes it.
Yeah.
The problem, if he's still listening, here's his question. You want to spend more money on a lawyer and an investigator, when ultimately you just need to figure out a way just to pay down and pay off the folks. I mean, in theory, he can call them up. That's garnishing wages. Well, how much do I owe you? $10,000. When I got to pay you $300 a month. How about if I just work a deal and maybe get you $5,000? Maybe go get a small business loan or something, and I'll give you $5,000 tomorrow. And a lot of times these companies will do that.
Oh yeah, especially if they've bought the debt for pennies on a dollar, and all they're doing is collecting the debt. At this point, it's found money to them.
And if you've got space on a credit card to charge it,
Get it out of your life.
Get it out, and then just pay the credit card down, so you don't have a judgment, you don't have anything coming out of your payroll account. You can pay more per month on a credit card or less depending on your income that month.
Yeah,
gives you a little more flexibility.
All right.
And I got a debit, credit, and collections law attorney, David Singa. More than happy to help the folks.
All right. Good luck to you, sir. Let's go to Kevin, because Kevin's got a question here I know we can answer. But, Kevin, real quick, I got to go to Carmen. Carmen? Yeah. Correct line 3.
Hold on.
Read it first.
Invoice for an unpaid toll.
And, yay! Applesauce. Kevin, what's happening?
Okay, yesterday I got in the mail a toll enforcement invoice from the Florida Department of Transportation. It also has on the headline there, Expressway and MDX. And I'm a senior citizen. I never owned a computer, so I don't know how this stuff works. I never texted anybody, but it said that back on the 16th of this month, I ran through a toll somewhere, and the toll is supposed to record my tag, and I was supposed to pay 66 cents. And because I didn't pay that 66 cents, they tacked on a $2.50 administration fee, so they want $3.16 from me. And I don't even know where this is at, so I called them up and to complain, and they said, well, hold on a minute. Give me they wanted the something number, account number or whatever.
Yeah, the invoice.
And I gave them that. She said, hold on a minute. She came back and she goes, yes, it's a temporary tag, and it's a very bad picture. It's very hard to read. So maybe it wasn't you. And I said, well, I know it wasn't me because I've never driven a toll road, ever. And she said, okay, well, we'll check on it. And I said, well, wait a minute. Am I going to get some kind of notice in the mail, or are you going to call me, or do I have to call? She goes, yeah, call back in 7 to 10 days, and we'll let you know if it was you or not. And I know it's not me. But anyway, it says pay by September 5th. Well, in 7 to 10 days, it's going to be September 5th. And if I don't pay this, then, they're threatening I can't renew my registration.
All right, well, let me tell you before Dom. All right, let me tell you before Dom gives you the legal advice. I will tell you that this is one of the poorest run systems we have here in Florida as far as the billing goes. Galvin one time told me I got all these bills from the toll violations, and I was just going to pay them because I thought, I don't know, it didn't pick up my thing or whatever. And Galvin was like, I got the same thing. And I called him and I said, I have my credit card linked to it. I have a replenishing limit that it keeps filling up. And yet I'm getting all these charges. And they go, oh, it must be a mistake. And they just go, don't worry about it. We'll clear it. And so then I called and I said that to him, and they said the same thing. And then the next year, I got a bill for like $90. And I called up and I said, I got this bill for like $90, but I can't imagine how this is happening again. And she goes, hold on. And then she's like, did you change your license plate? I go, like a year ago. And she goes, yeah, that's a problem. Don't worry about it. And I go, don't worry about it? And then I read in the paper that Governor DeSantis, when he came in, recognized that the system was falling apart and lifted all the fines for a while. So if you got the fine in a certain amount of time, in a time frame, then they didn't count. So in this guy's case, what does he do? I know he can call the office because Pam works on this stuff.
Well, he can just send a letter to the toll authority and put in the letter what he just told us on the air. And say, hey, look, I didn't drive the road. I called. The lady said that it was a bad resolution. It looked like a temporary tag. I don't believe it's mine. I have this time-sensitive payment due.
Right.
And I want you folks to look into it and absolve me of the debt of the $3.22 or whatever it was he said.
Now, sir, you've never driven on a toll road?
Never.
How are you avoiding that? Where do you live?
I live in Port Charlotte.
What about like going over bridges or anything?
I've driven all over the United States. My wife and I we went to South Dakota, we went to Oklahoma, we went to Texas, and it was all on the interstates and never had to pay a toll.
Hey, Siri, get me to the South Dakota with no toll roads. Beep, beep, right away.
Well, they
Okay.
have that option on your
on the maps.
Yeah, on Gmail or Gmaps, whatever.
Your trip will be 10 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Siri actually answered me. Sir, can you do what Dom said and send them a letter, send it certified, which will probably cost you $3.60 anyway.
$4.50.
Yeah. Can he email him?
If there's an email account, he'll have to look into
I don't even have, like I said,
He doesn't Twitter.
I've never sent a text. I've never emailed to anybody. I've never received. I don't have a computer.
Pigeon courier, sir.
I'm a dinosaur.
Put a scroll on a pigeon's toe.
62. You're acting like you're 104, sir. You're missing out on a lot of good things in life.
Well, I just wanted to ask Dom. I can afford $3.16, but I think this is a legal act of extortion by the state.
I don't think it's an illegal act of extortion. I think it's just they're disorganized, and it's a mistake. I mean, an extortion requires criminal intent, sir. And I don't believe the good folks at the toll authority have that type of intent for you for $2 and something cents. But if you want, you can just send a regular stamp in mail. That's 50 cents if we're cutting hairs. Or you can take a non-toll road and hand deliver it to the toll authority.
Well, that's true, too.
Just drive it over there, walk in, hand it to the folks, write the name down of who the nice person is at the front desk, the date and time, maybe have them sign something, and then you wait for a response and then walk out. That's what to do.
All right.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
He also seems like the guy that's going to go shoot the toll place up.
It's refreshing sometimes when people call and that gentleman's problem is literally $3. Versus
and
some of the other.
Like me will just pay the $3.
And I have people that are calling, screaming me over hundreds of thousands of dollars, or they're looking at jail or Florida State Prison. But it's nice to have a caller where the stress level is reduced to, hey, listen, if it doesn't work out, you're only out $3.
But that guy, he was like, I'm not going to ride on toll roads. It's not my responsibility to go ahead and and he's got his principles. So
yeah, that's fine.
Principled man.
That's fine.
All right, let me take a couple more of these phone calls.
I'm here all day.
Let's go. No, you're not.
All night.
Let's go to John, who's been patiently holding. John, you're on with Ask the Dom. What do you got?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Dom, I was just wondering, I had a bicycle accident recently back in March, and I had gone to the hospital and went through the emergency room, did the whole 9 yards. They ended up prepping me for surgery, and then within a 2-hour period, I ended up getting discharged. The following day, I ended up collapsing because of my broken hip, and I gone to another hospital, and I had surgery the next following day, and ended up getting rods put in my leg and my kneecap put back in place. And I was wondering, is there anything I can do, because I'm getting a bill from this previous hospital that refused to do the surgery that I was already prepped for, and I was discharged.
What was the reason for the discharge? What did it say on the papers?
Actually, what they said is because of I was intoxicated, and it's actually on the paperwork itself.
Well, is that true?
No, it's not. They did a blood alcohol level on me when I was in the emergency room. Like I said, I was in the emergency room for about maybe 3.5 hours, and all of a sudden the doctor came in and says, "You're fine. You've had a little bit too much to drink, and you're discharged."
Well, you didn't answer the question. What was the toxicology level? What was the blood alcohol content in the report?
Oh, it was under 0.8.
Yeah, well, if it still has any amount of alcohol in there, I think that might be a problem for the surgeons. If you have some level of intoxication, it might not be 0.08. If that, in fact, is what it was, you'd have to look at the report.
Right.
But if there is a risk to a patient because of something that they have ingested, then that is going to be, the concern as to maybe why they discharged you, and then you had to get it done, 24 hours later, so whatever was in your system had a chance to process out. It's, again, now I'm not a medical doctor, but I think that might be the problem you may be running into, because if these folks operate on you and you have alcohol in your system, which of course can affect a lot of your bodily functions and your heart rate and your breathing, and depending on what other devices they have attached to you, that then may be problematic. So these folks might have actually done you a favor.
Well, but actually what happened was the following day, I was to the point where I knew my hip was broken. They had told me that. They had taken an X-ray.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. If you had alcohol in your system or other drugs or narcotics or whatever the toxicology report says, that is a problem for surgeons until your system is clean. When my father had to have surgery, he had to be completely off of his heart medicine.
Right.
And he was on
Thins out your blood.
he was on blood thinners because and he's like, well, there's a couple days before he had to have a spine surgery before he passed away, because if they operate and he's on blood thinners, then he could bleed out. So there's medical protocol. So I think that's you're not focusing on that. I got a hip broken. I want you to fix it. We can't fix it right now because there's something in your system. We'll fix it tomorrow.
Well, no, it was actually fixed. I know
that.
Yeah,
I know.
I was just wondering, as far as the discharge, whether it was a toxology report or whatever.
Toxology. You can't go in there drinking. You got to be sober when you're gonna do that stuff, drunkie.
Send me an email if you want me to take a look at the toxicology report, and I'll be more than happy to check it out. But I suspect, Mike, that's probably what this gentleman's problem.
He might have been drinking now.
Well, it's every now and then you want to kick it off before 9 o'clock.
I have a couple of things we want to get to you on. This is an interesting story from ABC Action News locally.
Okay.
Something that you, I believe, have told us that if you are texting and you are pulled over by the police and you say to the police, I am not texting, and they say, let me see your phone, you don't have to give them their phone. A Tampa man found himself in jail for 44 days after he ignored a judge's order to give the police his cell phone passcode so officers could search his phone. William Montanez failed to use his blinker last June, and officers pulled him over for it. They smelled pot in his car. He said, yes, I smoke marijuana. There's a marijuana in my vehicle. During the traffic stop, they said the message popped up on one of his client's two phones that read, oh, my God, did they find it? Referring to the marijuana. It made the police interested in what else was on his phone. So they went to a judge and law enforcement and got a search warrant. They showed up at the client's house days later and said, we demand that you give up the passcode for your phone. When Montanez refused to give up the passcode in a court, a judge ordered him sent to jail on contempt of court. Mm-hmm. I think the judge was completely wrong, the lawyer says. What are your rights in this situation? The public has the right to ask police to get a warrant approved by a judge before police search your home. Most times they need a warrant to search your vehicle, but some state officers can search a car if they feel the need for safety or to inventory a vehicle if the driver or owner is arrested. Police have the right to take your fingerprints and mugshot, and therefore most law enforcement agencies believe they are allowed to unlock your cell phone if your face is the password or if you use a fingerprint to unlock it. But police asking you to give them your actual passcode or numbers or letters is different. You're being forced to give police a statement, some lawyers are saying. The issue has created a debate among those in legal circles. What do you think?
Well, the issue with the court-ordered warrant is a separate matter. So if the court is issued a directive, an order, or a search warrant,
right,
and you don't comply, well, then you're going to be held in contempt of court. That's why that fella was incarcerated.
But what right do they have to demand that he unlock his phone? There was no crimes being committed.
That is a different scenario. So if you're pulled over and someone says, well, I want to see your phone, well, you have a couple of things. One is you have a Fourth Amendment right from unlawful search and seizure. Two is you have a Fifth Amendment right from, incriminating yourself, the right to remain silent, because there might be some incriminating evidence in there, which, of course, would be a product of an unlawful search and seizure.
Right.
You have a Sixth Amendment right to counsel. So the Sixth doesn't always apply immediately. The Sixth will usually kick in a little later. Usually it's the Fourth that starts, kind of in the order. The Fourth, the Fifth, and the Sixth is kind of the order it goes into. And it's an intrusion. I would agree that there might be information on this phone that is sensitive in nature that they do not have probable cause in which to gain. just because they stopped you for a 316 traffic offense.
Yeah.
So that I don't disagree with the premise of the article. Now, the explanation to start, a lot of people say, well, how is he in jail? Well, that case was from last June. That was before the texting law. And there was a court order that says, hey, you have to do this because there was information was given to the judge. It passed muster, is what you say. The court signed off on the search warrant. And it just says, hey, we're here to search your house. You say, no, you can't have my house. And then you drive away with your house if your house is on wheels. It's the same concept with the phone if they have a search warrant. So that's really a non-issue there. But if it's you just pulled off to the side of the road, it's going to be problematic.
I have to tell you, I have been texting less because of the law. I think I follow the law pretty good.
Well, you got to understand something. It's a safety issue. I can't tell you how many times in a day that I have someone that calls my office and hires me because they were involved in an accident because somebody was on their phone. Whether they were on a handhelding or they were down texting or they're, looking at the map, whatever they're doing on it. It happens all of the time.
Yeah.
I've said it before. When you're driving home today, look into other cars and see how many people are texting or talking or doing stuff. You see it all the time because you'll see somebody and you go, what is this idiot doing? What are you?
They're crazy.
They put their brakes on, they're switching, and then you pull up and they're face to their phone, and you're like, well, of course.
So people hire me because they get into accidents and then they get cited with careless driving. So then I have to represent them because they were on their phone. Or the folks that they hit will call me and say, hey, Dom, I got hit by this guy or girl, and now it's a personal injury case. So I represented on both sides, and it's rampant. And now hopefully it'll start to decrease, and everybody's a little safer on the roads.
Well, I am still actively pursuing and capturing Pokemons. Other than that, my texting
is that where you go to the area? You have to go.
Yeah.
It pops up, and you have to on an app or something. You got to go to the area and you collect something.
Yeah, that's it.
How the hell do you have time to do that?
Oh, you do it while you're driving.
Wait, I call you back, Mike. I need to talk to you quick. Hang on a second. I got to get the red Pokemon.
I'm not I will not take a phone call if I'm in the middle of trying to get a red Pokemon.
Do you Bluetooth? You just say, "Hey, Dom, it's Mike."
No, I can't because sometimes I'm on the phone trying to talk. And the sound effects are so loud from the Pokemon, I can't hear whoever I'm talking to. So I got to pick one or the other. One or the other.
Okay.
If you didn't get through today, 813-251-5550. Or you can always reach him online at AskTheDom.com or on Twitter. He'll get you back on the Twitter at AskTheDom. And if you got a question, you got a problem, you didn't get through today, or you got to follow up, just give him a call over there in the office. And tomorrow night, right here on this very radio station, where he has his own radio show. And even though Mo is on it, I still encourage you to listen to it.
Cat named Mo.
Ugh.
I was ready for that movie premiere, and then he postponed that. I was all ready. I was ready to go on Sunday. Had my bathing suit on and everything.
I want to know at what point do we sue Mo? Because I got him an endorsement from Kevin Smith. I got him able to show the trailer before Kevin Smith's movie. I mean, if Mo embarrasses me, I'm going to sue him.
Well, here's the good thing is you'll get 4 dreadlocks. So,
are you excited about the movie? You think it's going to be pretty good? I mean, it sounds to me like it's going to be a pretty nice flick.
I think it will far exceed my expectations.
Okay.
Because I believe it's going to be garbage. So I believe that the reality of it will be a lot better than I'm thinking.
Well, it better be good because he comes in from time to time. I got to take the night off. I got to do this filming. And I said, okay. No, do what you got to do. I just make sure it's good at the end because if not, I'm coming after you.
All right. We will take a quick break. And then when we come back, can we play a little Who's Tweet maybe? Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly.
And also, I teased something 2 hours ago and didn't deliver on it. I think I might have the first fight lined up. I know who I want the first fight to be. And it's other radio people that don't work here. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Shots were fired yesterday on the radio. And it's girls. And it could be a bloodbath. I'll get to that when we come back.
You're listening to the Mike Calta Show on 102.5 The Bone.